Hey Bookish Babes, and welcome to my book nook. For those that are new around here, the name's Rainy. I read all different types of books from all different genres, so if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe to my channel down below. It really helps my channel grow. Today's video is going to be the one with my February TBR, which is my friends-inspired TBR challenge. I took the game from the actual episode where they were fighting for like their apartment versus getting rid of the chick and the duck, and hence created a game out of it. So if you're new to this experience, please go watch the playlist down below. It has evolved over the last year and a half that I've been doing this, but you know what? We're on year 2 and we're gonna keep rolling with it. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do my 6 rolls and I'm gonna see what books I'm gonna be getting. I did change some of the books and take some of the books off of the list because I actually read like 5 or 6 books from the TBR game board from last time. So that was really nice. So the books that I was able to take off were Project Hail Mary, Reckless, Crying in H Mart, There Are No Saints, and Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. And then there was one more and I can't remember what it was. And then I had to take one off because I found out it was an SMP title for St. Martin's Press, and with the boycott going on, I couldn't have that on there. But the rest of these are tried and true. So I'm going to really quickly read to you which ones are on there. I did add a couple that I need to read for this month in the hope that they would get chosen. So we'll see. But under new to me authors, we have The Dare, Haunting Adeline, Last House on Needless Street, Revival of Opal and Nev, Gothicana, Blood Mercy, Cleopatra and Frankenstein, One Dark Window, Binding 13, and The First Day of Spring. Under authors I've read from before, we have No One Can Know, Love Redesigned, Jade Legacy, Mad Honey, No Exit, A Fate of Wrath and Flame, One True Loves, Caught Up, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and The Great Alone. For series, we have The Ashes and the Starcursed King, Bloody Heart, The Girl in 6E, A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, The Family Upstairs, Crown of Oaths and Curses, Beartown, The Overstory, Zodiac Academy 2, Ruthless Fae, and Twisted Games. And for anticipated books or books that I want to read, King of Greed, Curse of the Wolf King, Finding Me, Crown of Midnight, White Smoke, The Fury, A Little Life, The Predator, Ashes of the Sun, and A Court of Mist and Fury. So those are the books that we have to contend from. And let's see if the TBR gods are nice to me this month or what, because I have a lot of books to read outside of this for my own Battle of the Girl Bands readathon, which if you're watching this, you can join. We haven't even started yet. We're starting February 1st. The announcement video I will link underneath here, but join Team Spice Girls. It's obviously the best team because I'm the host and also the host of that. Okay, so anyway, let's get started with let's get started by talking about the books that were on my TBR from last time, and was I successful or was I not? Well, I did not read Binding 13, and that was my first book for last time. I do still plan on reading it, but I did not get to it last month. I also didn't get to Bloody Heart by Sophie Lark. I still plan on getting to that. I did get to Crying in H Mart, which I'm very excited about because I'm able to say that I have successfully read one nonfiction a month so far because I read that. And so I'm very happy. I had a great time with that memoir. It was a good time. I did not read The Girl in 6E, and this is the second or third time that this has come up. So if it comes up again and I skip it again, then I have to get rid of this book because I'm never going to read this book, or I would prioritize it. I had Ashes and the Starcursed King, did not read it. I didn't even get to my reread of Serpent, and I'm not going to lie, that's not going to happen during Battle of the Girl Bands month. Like, I just know that it's not. I know myself. And then Mad Honey, That's Funny. Did not get to that. But however, I did get to my extra stuff. I did not get to my extra roll, which was the 4 Winds. Did not finish that book. As far as my best wordathon word goes, I did read that. I had to read There Are No Saints. I didn't read the sequel, There Is No Devil, but I only had to read one for there. So I did that. For Winterween books, I did read The Nature of Witches. I did not read No Exit. I did not read White Smoke. Instead, I read Butcher and Blackbird for that, which was also for Jan's buddy read. And I did not read No One Can Know. And then as far as TBR-a-thon reads, I did read the first 3 out of the 5 rolls. I read Lessons in Chemistry, which was one that I rolled. I read Scepter, which was one that I rolled for that. And then I read one more, and I can't remember. Oh, I read The Nature of Witches also for Winterween and TBR-a-thon. So I read at least 3 of those. And then I did read, like I said, Butcher and Blackbird for Jan's buddy read. And I did read A Kiss of Iron. Actually, I'm 85% of the way done through it right now, but I'll finish it tomorrow on the 31st. And that was for Tori's Who Did This To You book club. So, I was more successful than a lot of other times, you know? But you know what? It's fine. It's fine because I took books off the TBR. And that is really the goal and the purpose of all of this, okay? So now that we've shamed myself into existence, let's get to roll number 1. So roll number 1 was a 44, which if I look for that on this board, it is a yellow one, which is under literature, which is for a series, and yellow is my choice. And I don't remember what I chose. So let me look at the list. and then come back to you. So actually I had just put this back on the list because I was supposed to read it in January for Cassidy's, one of her book clubs in her Patreon, and I didn't get to it. So I'm going to get to it this month. And that is The Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Bree, The Mortal Fates Book 1. I still need to read one of the pre-novellas. She has 2 novellas that you need to read before it, The Scepter and the Sword. And I read The Scepter, really loved it. I need to get to The Sword. But this is the beginning of a series that I'm very excited to read about. And I don't know entirely too much of what it is about. So I'm not going to give you a synopsis because I don't really want to read the back of this. But I will say this book is about 600 pages. I am very excited to get to it though. I've heard great things about this. I've also started to hear not so great things about this, but you know what? I'm still very excited that a fantasy romance has made its way onto my TBR. Was this planned for anything other than a book club? Can I use it as a prompt? I'm sure I probably can. So I should look into that. All right, on to roll 2. So roll 2 was 36, and according to this, it is also under literature, which means it is the start of a series, and it is green, which means it's a thriller or horror, and since I don't have that many thriller or horror series, it can be one of like 3. So let's see which one of the 3 that it was. Well, I've got to say, doesn't look promising, because this book is on the TBR for the 2nd month in a row. And that is The Girl in the 6E by A.R. Tourette. It's not like I'm not interested in reading this, especially because I know that Haley Hughes is obsessed with this. And we do get along a lot in our thriller and horror like recommendations and the things that we like that are the same. But I just have not felt like a spark or like desire to read this. And yeah, it's sad, but like, I don't know. All I know is it's about some serial killer girl that kills people. I don't know why. So she's like locked herself in her house and follows these 3 rules. Don't leave the apartment, never let anyone in, don't kill anyone. But then she has to come out for some reason, but she's also a cam girl. I don't really know. I don't know a lot of this, okay? I don't know. But maybe this will be the month that I finally get her done. As my board falls backwards. So, you know. All right, on to roll 3. So roll 3 was a 28, which on here we are looking, and it is under Fears and Pet Peeves. It is a blue, which means that is typically a fantasy, I'm pretty sure. And it is under an author that I've never read before. So let's see who it is. This is very exciting because I've been wanting to read this book, and I was going to read it for next month. And so I put it on the TBR, and that is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I've been wanting to read this for a long hot minute, and I am so excited I'm finally getting to it. So this one, I don't know too much. I think it's about this girl named Elspeth, and she needs a monster for some reason. She calls him the Nightmare. It's an ancient spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. And then she meets some mysterious highwayman on the forest road. Her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure blunder of the dark magic infecting it, except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in blunder and guilty of high treason. Treason. Why did I say that the wrong way? You know what? I'm so excited. I've heard this has tarot card elements. I'm just excited to finally get to this book. And fun fact, I have the Fairy Loot edition, or Illumicrate edition, coming to me, but I don't have the first one. So I need to find that without, breaking the bank. On to roll 4. So roll 4 was a 37, which if we look on here, 37 is over here under It's All Relative, and it's a pink, which normally would be a romance. And so I need to look and see what that's going to be. Now, while the TBR gods are not blessing me necessarily with books that are helping me for this readathon, some they are, some they aren't, they are blessing me with books that I've been meaning to get to. And so we're going to read The Predator by Runix, book 1 in the Darkverse series. And I am stoked. I'm stoked. I don't know what this is about. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll just read a sentence to you. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object in the field of death? Let me tell you, a girl don't know. But Larry Reed's made me very interested in this when she did her Darkverse vlog, which I wanted to do one as well. I'm very excited. This is only about 300 pages. I should be excited to get this. It is a dark romance. I heard it has mafia vibes in it. Let's let the mafia vibes flow, okay? On to roll 5. So roll 5 was 40, which if we look over here, 40 is green underneath Fears and Pet Peeves from its author I've never read from before, and it is a thriller or a horror. So let me go grab the book for you. I couldn't find the book easily on my shelves. I'll pop it up on here, but it is The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker, and I've put this on a million TBRs and I never get to it, and I want to actually prioritize it. It's about a little girl. She kills somebody when she's younger, and then when she's older, she ends up getting away with it, and when she's older, she has a daughter, and they're coming back to try to solve this murder that she did forever ago, and she doesn't want to get caught because obviously she now has a daughter. And so it's about that. Sounds very intriguing. I know Katie Colson read it and really liked it. That's actually why I bought it in the first place. I haven't really heard anybody else talk about it since. But maybe I'll finally actually prioritize it this time. I'm saying that about all these books. Do you get a recurring theme here? Okay? Okay. On to roll 6. Roll 6 is a 19, which on here we have, it is a yellow underneath. It's all relative, which means it is an anticipated read or a book that I just really want to get to soon. So let me go grab that, and yellow means that I got to add it. So what's funny is I actually bought this the other day because Bree has talked about it nonstop, and then I saw Cassidy talk about it, and I saw another person talk about it, and so I said, oh, I should get to that soon. And I guess soon is February. And that is Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. I am very excited. I know nothing about this. I've heard of the queer Star Wars fantasy. What more could you really need? It says, not even the ties of blood will keep them from splitting the world in two. Surrounded by the relics of a dead empire, 2 siblings, one who wields magic for the empire and the other who has vowed to bring it all down, will battle for the fate of their world in the first book of this epic new fantasy trilogy. That sounds stunning to me. It is a little bit of a chunker, and it has a huge glossary. Oh dear God, am I going to be confused? I don't know. But I do like the first sentence, which I've heard somebody talk about before. It's just like a cute little first sentence. What did it say? Gyra and Maya were playing ghouls and heroes. Gyra had to be the ghoul, of course. Maya would never tolerate being anything less than a hero. You know what? So would I, Myra. So would I. Alright, so we've done our 6 rolls, so now we're going to do our Friends Lightning Round Challenge. You know the rule, friends. I get 5 questions. I get 30 seconds to answer them. I have to get at least 3 of them correct within the time in order to not get a punishment, right? So basically that's what I'm doing to myself. So I'm going to set the timer for 30 seconds. And I always do better when I've been watching Friends recently, and I have not watched Friends recently, so this is probably going to be bad. 3, 2, 1, action. Alright, what TV event captivated Chandler the weekend he and Monica went away together? A high-speed robbery chase. What does Joey construct using Ross's moving boxes? A fort. When Ross moves in with Chandler and Joey, what song does he put on their answering machine? We will call you back. What was the name of the health inspector Phoebe dated? Russ? No, I don't know. When Ross moved in, where did Joey and Chandler have to move the foosball table? Into Chandler's bedroom. Pretty sure. Let's see if I did it. I think I feel confident about that. So here we go. Alright, TV event. A high-speed car chase. A fort. We will rock you. Larry. And Joey's room, so not Chandler's room. That's still fine. I got 3. Oh, I got 3. I did it, yeah. Oh, I got 3. Bop, bing, ba, dam, bam. Very excited because last time I did very poorly. I did so bad last time. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so I don't have to do a punishment prompt. I don't have to roll that dice. So you know what? Check me out. Alright, now I'm just going to tell you some books that are on the docket. I'm not going to tell you every book that I have in the works for next time, but at least for now you can see that these are the 6 books outside of the Nancy Tucker one that are going to be on there, and I do have already a little bit of a chunky stack, but you know, it'd be what it be. Alright, so let's talk about any book club reads that I am participating in first and foremost. I know I'm participating in Tori's Who Did This To You book club because I always do because it's a fantasy romance book club, and we are reading The Ever King for that one. I don't know much about it. I know that my friend Kelsey is reading it and really loving it, and I'm very excited to get to it. I popped a picture up of here, but I don't know anything about it. I'm going into it blind, and you know what? I think that's the best way to do it. I'm also in another fantasy romance book club because I've discovered that that is my passion, called Prosecco and Pages, and I will link that underneath here. But we are reading the new Vanessa Rosanen book. She was the one that wrote Under These Black Sails, or some parody book. I will put the real name underneath here, or On These Black Sands, I'm pretty sure. And I started it, never finished it, but I was liking it. But it's her newest fantasy romance that has nothing to do with that, called Until the Stars End or something. I'm putting the cover up here, okay? I'm very excited. And she's in the book club, so she's going to be discussing and reading it with us, which I think is really cool. So I'm very excited to get to that. Both of those are going to be in a fantasy romance vlog coming very soon to a theater near you. Your living room of your, YouTube video. You get it? Yeah? Okay. Anyway, so those are 2 that I'm definitely going to be reading. I've decided I'm not really going to be participating as closely in Books and Lala's and Gabby and even my friend Haley and Jan and all those, unless they're books that I want to be reading, which Jan's actually this month is a book that I've already read, so I didn't have to read it, and I never know what Haley's are until we're already into that month, so I'll have to judge from there. And then Gabby's, I'm pretty sure didn't interest me. March's is the one that interests me because we're reading The Fury in March. So I'm just not reading as many book club ones this time. And you know what? That's a-okay. Then if we want to talk about a couple other books that I plan on reading for Spice Girls Readathon, for one of the books, a book that you have considered getting rid of, I'm going to be reading Opal and Nev, the revival of Opal and Nev. And I'm actually reading that for a collaboration video that I'm doing with Leandra. So that'll be fun. So yeah, I had considered getting rid of it and then I didn't. And then Leandra picked for me to read it. So it's time for me to read it. So we're going to be reading The Revival of Opal and Nev. We are also going to be reading The Lost World by Michael Crichton because my Jurassic Park vlog needs to come out because some of the footage that I filmed of me and Lincoln going to a real Jurassic Park interactive show was a year ago yesterday. So this video needs to go up ASAP. I need to finish Jurassic Park, which I'm 80% of the way in, and finish Lost World. So that vlog will be coming to you in the very close distant future. And then I'm also going to be reading a sports romance. I'm going to be finishing or catching up to the Windy City series so far, and we're going to be reading Caught Up by Liz Tomford because I read Mile High and The Right Move. Absolutely loved them. I've heard the Caught Up one is really great, and it follows our baseball characters, so we're going to be going to some baseball times, and I'm very excited. I just can't wait to read this. I really do love the way that she writes these big romances, even though they're hella long, but you know what? I'm here for them. I'm here for them. And then two other books that I will tell you about that I'm reading is right now I'm actually reading Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, and I'm only 20% into it because I'm annotating it, but I'm not gonna lie, my annotations are very beautiful. But I need to read that, and I need to read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing so that I can read the final Magnolia Parks. Do I actually need to read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing before it? No, because they typically keep the universes separate, but I don't want something spoiled for me, so I'm gonna read it before I read the 5th book. And that comes out in 2 weeks, so I need to get crack-a-lackin', you dig? And then the last book that I'm going to put on this list, because it is literally on its way to me now, because Barnes & Noble is always late with pre-orders. It should have gotten here today because it came out today, but it's not getting here till Friday, is The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. Do I know what it's about? No. Do I know that she wrote House of Hollow and I really, really enjoyed it? Yes. So I'm very excited to read it. I'm getting the Barnes & Noble exclusive, pretty edition, so very excited to read that, okay? Excited to get to that. And while I have a lot of other books on my TBR, those are the only ones that I'm going to tell you about for today. So I have a lot of books to read, okay? I understand. I have a lot of books to read. But it is what it is. I'm going to have a really great time in this Girl Band Readathon. I'm going to be stealing prompts. I'm going to be reading all sorts of different things. We are just going to have a blast. So, like I said, if you're interested in joining us, please go to the video announcement underneath here. Join the Discord. Pop in with us. We'll have a great magical time. Otherwise than that, if you got to the end of this, then let's put a sun emoji for Ashes of the Sun because that was the first book that was up here. So let's just put a sun emoji and let me know one book that you are looking forward to reading on your February TBR. And with that, I will see you guys in my next video.